Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, God. We're already going to have trouble keeping it. Okay. All right, let's go. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, I am joined, actually, with technically Andrew from Andrew's Wizardly Reads, of course. That's why we have his lovely background here from a slightly different angle. But we're going to be doing something fun today, where he has selected some books out of his collection that I have not read, and then he is going to present them two at a time and kind of try and sell me on them, and then I'm going to make a decision, and we're going to whittle it down to one book, which I will then agree to read. So I think there should be some pretty good stuff here, because it's a lot of stuff I heard of, or some stuff I already have too. But we'll see. So we'll see which lucky book is going to be chosen. From there, we can have Andrew take it away.
Woo. Okay, so I literally just looked at my collection and I was like, did he read them? Did I like them? And do I think Nico's going to like them? So those are my criteria, because I wanted to make this difficult. And starting off, we are going to go... I'm just going to pair these up as random. You thought I was going to pair it with this one. I'm going to pair it with this one. Ooh, no, that's not fair. Okay, we're going to do it.
Is it difficult for me or difficult for you?
Yeah, it's difficult for me. Because I want you to read, well, all of these books. We've got 8 books, by the way. I don't know if we clarified that.
Oh, yeah,
if we did, I'm just...
No, I didn't. You're right.
Anyway, we're doing this kind of bracket style, this or that. So first off, we've got No Land for Heroes by Kyle Black. This is a Gaslamp and Western fantasy story. Basically, this is kind of a darker sort of Western fantasy story where we follow Millie, Deputy Barry, who is kind of in hiding in this small town where people have just been kind of off on their own in this Western environment, hiding from the world at large when her past comes back to kind of haunt her. We've got dragons in here, we've got basilisks, we've got gunfights, we've got train robberies, we've got war stories, we've got PTSD analysis. Very, very good. And then we've got A Plague of Giants by Kevin Hearn. And what's cool about this one is you said you've read the first few pages, but the audio wasn't quite doing it for you. So I think I read this one physically, and I really, really enjoyed it. Basically, we have got this world kind of at war, and there's this calamity where some giants, where they live is like on a volcano, and it erupts, and they have to flee. And so basically, they flee to these lands where they then start trying to take control, where they're not welcome. And then it's all of these kind of mini tales being relayed back to you by a shape-shifting bard who is telling you these people's stories while kind of in their shape. It's got an interesting magic system where, like, you can kind of pull from your life force to use the magic. But, like, if you want to do something, like, really explosive, basically, like, it uses all of your life force.
It does sound a little familiar, yeah.
So, my question is this or that.
See, this is really hard because the description of No Land for Heroes sounds really fun. But I haven't done a whole lot of the Gaslamp Western thing, and I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about that.
I know, that's why I chose this one. I love this one. I just got the arc of book 2.
I know you've been really big on the kind of the Western style stuff, and I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about that. So,
come on, baby, take a chance on me.
I suppose since I've technically started Plague of Giants a while back, even though I didn't dislike it, I just wanted to go back to physical. I'll move forward No Land for Heroes for now as the kind of like exciting new thing to try. So we'll move No Land for Heroes ahead here. I'll put that over in this pile.
I haven't read the sequel to this one yet, and I need to.
I have the sequel too. I have
too.
I have them hardcovers as well instead of mass market paperbacks. So.
You know what? No one asked. No, I'm just kidding. I got my mass market paperback. All right, this one I think is going to be difficult for me to root for one because I love these both for different reasons, and I know the one I want you to pick. But I think I know the one you're going to pick. Okay, so we're going to start with Divinitys Twilight by Christopher Russell. This is Rebirth, book number 1. Now, right off the bat, I need to tell you the prologue of this book is 10% of the book, and it's all 100% battle.
Okay.
And essentially we're following 3 powerful mage siblings, 3 brothers, and one's kind of gone to the dark side. And the other 2 brothers have banded together to do battle with him. And then basically that battle ends, and we time jump 700 years into the future, where there are nations based off of each of the brothers.
Okay.
And these nations are still technically at war. They all, one, like, is kind of bookish. One, worships, like, might over right, or might makes right and stuff like that. Very interesting magic system. I think you would like this one because it's got some Cosmere-esque stuff, but it doesn't feel like a Cosmere story. Like, it's not somebody trying to be Sanderson, but it's got kind of some of those feels.
Okay.
And then we've got Memories of Blood and Shadow by Aaron S. Jones, and I loved this book so much. Basically, this is like a grimdark Name of the Wind, where basically we follow Tavar, where Tavar was part of like this merchant family, and his family was just traveling along the road in this nation's land, and this nation is not particularly nice. And so basically they say, hey, you need to pay taxes or you're harboring fugitives. We need to search your stuff. They said no. They murdered everybody and then enslaved the children
quickly.
And then press gang them into their military where they have to serve 10 to 15 years on the front lines. And kind of basically this is a story that's being chronicled back to you by an older Tavar, where it kind of like he has this legend of like how he killed the king, the god of this country, and they want him to come back into service. It's a bit of a beefy book, but it's really good. So this or that.
Oh man, I have no idea here. I know I've heard you talk about both of these, and they both do sound interesting. I think this is supposed to have like really nice prose.
It's accessible prose. This one's got a little bit higher prose.
Oh, it's the opposite.
Yeah, I think it's the opposite.
See, I still haven't actually read Name of the Wind. Don't kill me.
Don't read it.
If the series is ever finished, I'll try it.
This one's better.
And that's why I'm curious, because I've heard you say that.
This is better.
So, see, and that's why I think I'm honestly going to pick that one, just because I'm so curious, because I always hear books compared to Name of the Wind, and I feel like I need to read one of them so that I can actually like see the comparison. So we'll go with this. Okay. I'm definitely keeping that in mind, though, because that also sounds great. I feel like all of these are ones that it doesn't really matter what would win, because it's all books that you've enjoyed, and I probably will too. But I'm always curious when the books get the Name of the Wind comparison, because I haven't read Name of the Wind, and so I never really fully know what I'm getting with that. So
I'm sitting over here contemplating my next choice. Sorry, you can continue to talk to the camera. I am gonna put this one against this one. Now, we've got two books here. We've got The Hellborn King by Christopher G. Brenning, book 1 of The Hellborn King. And then we've got The Bone Ships, book 1 of Tide Child. I just finished this trilogy. This is nautical fantasy, where basically this is an island society where they have harvested the bodies or the bones of Kishins, which are basically sea dragons. And so the ships are made up of bone.
I knew the bone part of it, but I didn't realize they were sea dragons. So that's cool.
They're essentially a sea dragon. And basically, for generations, the dragons have just been gone, so the bones are starting to rot and stuff like that. And these island nations are at war with each other. They've got a matriarchal society, and they've also got something called the Black Ships. So basically, Black Ships are where you are given a death sentence, and then you have to go serve on a black ship. And basically, it's your fate is decided, but the day has been delayed until basically you die in battle to the glory of your nation. And we kind of we follow one of these black ships, the Tide Child, which has just become kind of slovenly. We got Joran Twiner, who is the current shipwife or the captain of this ship, and then Lucky Mies Gilbryn, daughter of one of the most what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know. I haven't read the book.
What's it called when you can have a lot of kids?
Fertile?
There we go. Fertile women in the islands. Basically, the more children you have in this society, the better. The higher up you go.
Okay.
I just couldn't think of the word.
Yeah, it's fine.
But she kind of comes over, challenges him for the captaincy of Tide Child, and wins, and then starts getting them into ship shape. This book starts really rough, and then you kind of get a story progression of how they come together as a found family. They come together to work as a unit and run and get everything ship shape.
Okay.
And then this one.
I'm assuming doesn't have as much of the family elements. I'm guessing.
Oh, no, it has the family elements.
Okay.
It's just incredibly dysfunctional family. Like right here on the back, you can see right here, this says a kingdom at war, a royal family at war with itself. So it's got the family element. It's just incredibly unhealthy. So basically, this is Damien Dreadfire, and he is the leader of these bands of people who lost a war to this kingdom about 20 years ago. And since that war, the king has been ill. He took a head injury, and he became an alcoholic, he became a womanizer, he just changed. And over time, the family just started fighting. The queen feels trapped because the king is abusive. The son has also turned to alcohol because he feels trapped because his sisters have gone off. They've gotten married. They've gotten out of the castle, but they keep blaming him for everything that's wrong. The way that this works is there's a small council who has kind of taken over the responsibilities of the king while he's doing his thing. And the prince can't do anything because they won't let him on the small council. Excuse me as I drop a book.
I caught it, don't worry.
Yeah. And basically, this just kind of deals with their struggles while these people led by Damien Dreadfire are coming back to take back revenge for this defeat that they suffered 10 to 20 years ago. Yeah. And they're all caught flat-footed. It's brutal, it's dark, it's militaristic, and it's really, really good.
See, this is hard because I love the cover of the Hellborn King right off the bat. Whereas, this is fine. I'm not a huge fan. But see, the thing is still, I actually have this book because the idea of ships made of dragon bones is so cool to me.
You have to deal with, ship rot and bone rot and, creatures that eat the bone.
There's so many cool things you can do with that, and so I'm so curious. And so, that's still going to be on my list. I think I am going to have to move bone ships forward just because I've been so curious about that one for a while. And I have the first book, at least. I don't have the rest yet, but...
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
okay, so that brings us to our final two. We've got the Ember Blade by Chris Wooding, and we've got Heliotrope by Palmer Pickering. Ooh. And these two are very, very good. They're both bigger books. They're both slower reads. This one is about revolution, where essentially a nation kind of conquered and subjugated another nation and then kind of enslaved these people. We follow two boys as they kind of are just living their lives, and then all of a sudden the past of one of these boys' family members comes back to bite them, where the father was a prevalent member of a revolution years ago. And it's kind of a sins of the father thing, where he gets kind of imprisoned, and they've got to kind of fight their way out, and then they are slowly on a quest to kind of win back the hearts of the people and reignite the flames of revolution by getting the kind of symbol of the nation, the Ember Blade.
Okay. I know that one's been on my list a long, long time.
It's kind of got some similar beats to Lord of the Rings, told in a very different way. There's druidic magic in it. I'm putting it down because it's heavy. And there's just a lot that goes into the Ember Blade. I'm actually getting ready to do a reread of this one in the next couple months. And then we've got Heliotrope by Palmer Pickering. Look at it. It's beautiful. It's pretty. This one, essentially, we are following Telio. I wanted to say Helio, and I knew that was wrong. Telio is a retired soldier. He is the most skilled swordsman in the Verdant Valley, I believe is the name of this nation. And basically, because he is of the peasant class, he was not given the chance to be master of arms, so he becomes a stonemason. And in the previous wars, his son was kidnapped by the previous, or by the opposing nation. Let's say that the opposing nation took his son, and then killed his wife and daughter, and so he has this big gaping hole. Well, then there's a coup at the castle where he's kind of doing stonework. And he has to rescue a member of the royal family and a boy from the nation that stole his family, who was also kidnapped by his nation. And he kind of takes them in and goes on the run. And so they kind of form this family bond. Also, there is a magic that has been forbidden for generations. You have these kind of people who can manipulate stone, and there is a kind of dance ritualistic. You can kind of see this kind of circle right here on the cover. This is a heliotrope, where the mages would dance the sword to charge up their powers. They can teleport. They can do all sorts of stuff. It's a slow-paced book, kind of in 3 parts. For the amount of pages that we go, it is a fantastic story about just forgiveness, self-discovery, and just everything that goes into it. It's very, very good.
So these both sound really nice. And I have had Ember Blade for a while, and I'll have Heliotrope actually really soon. I also like both covers. Both sound like these nice, sprawling, slow stories. How long can I make him hold them both up? That's the real question.
Oh, God, these things are heavy.
Okay, so I think I'm going to go with the Ember Blade because I'm probably going to read this in the next couple of months anyway.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I could be like, I'm going to pick that since there's a good chance I'll read it anyway. But I'm just going to take it out because I'm going to read that soonish anyway. So it winning, me reading it soonish probably doesn't help it any. So I will leave that one. So yeah, it's going to get read anyway.
So here's the final four.
The final four.
And now to shuffle.
As I say, okay.
Shuffle it up.
I won't even
I'm not looking. Of course, I know which one's the Ember Blade, but I don't know what it's getting paired with. It's the biggest one.
That
it's
one's pretty evident.
Wrapped.
That's pretty evident.
All right. I don't know what we've got here. Let's see. This or that. We've got Memories of Light and Shadow and the Bone Chips.
Memories of Blood and Shadow?
Yeah, Memories of Blood and Shadow. I'm just thinking
of
Janie
We've got words on the mind.
Yeah, we got Janie words on the mind.
Never,
we've been talking about Janie
never
words
a bad
all day.
thing, yeah. So we've got Name of the Wind,
Nautical Bones,
or
Name of the Wind, homage with grimdark awesomeness.
See, I feel like I know which one you'd like me to pick here, but I gotta go with the Bone Ships.
All right.
I'm more curious about Dragon Ships than I am that one. Although I'm still gonna read that one. And
Ember Blade
for Heroes.
or the one that you're just kind of nervous about.
See, I moved it forward, but then seeing it up next to Ember Blade, which I know is gonna be to my tastes and that I've had for forever, it's really hard to pick that. So I will get to that at some point. I'm gonna have to go with Ember Blade here. But
then
now
we have our finalists.
Oh, so light.
This one's a little bit darker in tone, which I think you'll like, but this one's also very dark and bleak in tone.
This is really hard because
this one is the story progresses. It does not start out good. This one starts out good.
That's okay. I'm glad you because like I need something here because
but I gave them both 5 stars.
I was gonna say, and I know you've talked about this, and I got this book and then you read it like I'd already had it, and then I think you bought me Ember Blade forever ago. So
yeah,
it's been on my list
forever
for a long
like
time.
last year.
And I feel like.
For your birthday.
Especially since it's also a longer book, I probably do need a good excuse to finally get to it. So you know what? I'm calling it. It's Ember Blade.
Victory.
Because it won, I'm going to steal this from
No,
Andrew.
No, that's signed? That's from the Broken Binding?
I'm kidding. I know. I will really steal it. I do have a copy, but this is a really fancy copy. But,
yeah. Have you seen the naked hardcover?
Ember Blade? I actually don't think I have. Ooh, that is pretty. Look at that thing.
Weird flex.
That's pretty cool.
Book flex.
So Ember Blade will join my list, and I promise this time, a book that wins the competition, I won't wait like 4 months before reading it. So Ember Blade will be coming up really soon.
We did not set a time frame for you to read it, so if you...
This is true.
If you are too busy...
I'm always too busy, but there are definitely several other books, if not all of those, eventually that I'll plan to get to. But I feel like this is a good excuse to get to Ember Blade. That one's been on my list for too long, and I just remember you gushing about it back in the day. So
I'm going to do a reread so I can read Shadow Casket.
Well, hey, there we go. Maybe I'll join you for that then. So hey, that works even better.
I got that right there.
That's also here's this one. This one's also nice looking. It's not like it doesn't have the edges, but still looks pretty cool. Oh, it's just not on the top?
This one's like a cream
yellow. It's just the lighting, and I'm blind, even with my glasses, apparently. So, okay, I'm dumb. Don't mind me. But that's it for this one, though. So thanks very much to Andrew for joining here and pitching me on all of these books. So definitely, I imagine you're all aware of Andrew if you're watching my channel. But if not, definitely check out his channel. Make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the link in the description, as always, for the Wizardly Duo Discord. We're even both here, so it's very fitting. I'll do both versions of the art, maybe. But check that out if you want to chat books. We'd love to have you. And, of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.